LinkedIn is pretty great at a lot of things, like helping you tap into the latest trends and insights in your field. We cannot stop your coworker from tapping her pencil. LinkedIn can help you find new jobs that align with your career goals. We cannot help you find the source of that weird smell in the office fridge. Ew. And while we can't stop your coworkers from bringing their hobbies into the office, LinkedIn can help you bring your career to the next level. LinkedIn is the network that works for you.
The Eagles lose Jalen Phillips while the rest of the NFL gives out like billions and billions of dollars. Welcome to the Eagles Checkdown, the fastest under 10-minute Eagles podcast there is, covering news, notes, and opinions on your favorite football team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Jointly produced here by the Eagles Pinpool Podcast Network and the STT Sports Network over on YouTube. Guys, I'm Phil Stiefel. Before we get started, as every day, hit the like button, share button, follow or subscribe. Do whatever you can to help us grow these two great channels. Whether you're on a tablet or you're listening on your iPads, whatever it is, do the work. Help us out. We put in the work in for you, so continue to share and put those clicks on your screen for us. We greatly appreciate it. I'd greatly appreciate it, guys. I'm Phil Stiefel, and, whether you're listening to this on YouTube on Monday night or where you're listening to this on Spotify on Monday morning, there is a lot of NFL free agent news from Monday to break down, and I'm recording this late Monday afternoon, so when you're listening to this, even more news might have broken. We'll get to that tomorrow on the next episode. But what we know right now, the big breaking news of the day, Jalen Phillips, Eagles edge rusher, signed with the Carolina Panthers, not the Philadelphia Eagles. I had originally projected him around 4 years, $84 million. Maybe I was being conservative. Maybe I just had some hope that he'd stick around in Philly. And the Eagles obviously had a want to bring him back based off of all reports. But he signs with the Carolina Panthers for a whopping 4 years, $120 million, $80 guaranteed. So I thought he was going to sign for 84 with like 65, 70 guaranteed. He got 80 guaranteed and $120 million overall. We traded our 87th pick in the draft for him. We got 9 games out of him. We will get a comp pick, probably based off the comp picks that we just received word on. We got a third-round comp pick this year for Milton Williams, lost last year. This is a very similar dollar amount. So we'll get a third pick back next year for the loss of Jalen Phillips. It's a big loss. But, man, and Jalen Phillips gets a bad rap because his sack numbers weren't high. But he had a massive impact on this defense over the last 8 or 9 games when he was in here in Philadelphia. Our sack numbers went up more than half a sack, per game. Our quarterback hits stayed the same, but our pressures went up about 3 pressures per game. He had an impact on the field majorly throughout the season with the Eagles. So it is going to be a big loss, and we're going down a path because we're going to get into some of the other free agent moves around the NFL in a moment. We're going down a dark, deep path where we're going to be similar to last year with Nolan Smith, Jalix Hunt, and a bunch of cheap guys on the edge. And hopefully it works out. Who knows what it means going forward, but it's a problem for the Eagles. And edge rusher is a very premier position in the NFL, and the Eagles are not deep at the position. But also on the flip side, I don't believe in giving someone like Jalen Phillips $120 million. Boy Mafi got $60 million. Owe, I don't even know if I'm saying that right, went to Washington with $100 million. People are spending on the edge. We got 2 young, talented guys, and we got a lot of other guys that need to get paid, and you just could not give $120 million to him. Other Eagles news, Jahan Dotson signed with the Atlanta Falcons on a 2-year deal worth between $15 and $17 million, depending on incentives, $10 million guaranteed. Look, we knew he wasn't staying. You might even get a day 3 comp pick for him in the next offseason. But it does leave a hole at wide receiver 3. We'll see what the Eagles do there. But Jahan Dotson definitely was going to go somewhere and not necessarily get paid, but get paid to play and be targeted a little bit more often than he is here in Philadelphia. So that's another loss. Michael Carter did get his contract renegotiated. We've talked countless times where he was going to get cut or waived to save about $8-9 million in cap space. His deal got renegotiated, saves just under $7 million. At this moment, I see differing reports, so we'll just give a ballpark between $24 and $25 million in cap space now for the Philadelphia Eagles with the Jordan Davis extension and the Michael Carter renegotiation. So that's where they stand there. Other Eagles news before we get to the other rest of free agency. Landon Dickerson, it was reported, went to the same place Cam Jurgens went to in Colombia to also get stem cell treatment on his back and his knees and his legs and everything else. A little scary knowing that so many people on the Eagles need special out-of-the-country stem cell treatment, and I still stand by it. The biggest issue, it doesn't matter what happens in free agency. It doesn't matter what trades the Eagles make this offseason. If our offensive line cannot stay healthy, we're screwed, plain and simple. To be blunt, we're effed, you know? So hopefully Landon Dickerson got the treatment he needed and got the help he needed, and we'll be back to dominating Landon Dickerson as soon as possible. We're going to rapid fire through some of these big deals and some of the interesting deals that got signed. Like I said, I'm being sarcastic, billions of dollars in free agent money signed. But realistically speaking, there was well over $1 billion spent in free agency on the first day of legal tampering. Now, legal tampering, some of these deals can be backed out on. Frank Gore, wink, wink, you know what I'm talking about. But let's go over some of the big ones. The biggest one that I actually like, despite it being a massive overpay. And all these deals, by the way, are massive overpays. And by the way, nobody wins the Super Bowl on the first day of free agency. They might win the first day of free agency, but very rarely does it translate to Super Bowl titles or even Super Bowl appearances. But the first one, and I like it, the Raiders signed Raven center Tyler Linderbaum to a 3-year, $81 million deal, 60 guaranteed. He's now the highest paid center of all time, 6th highest paid offensive lineman in football. Huge overpay for Linderbaum, but you're going to draft your franchise quarterback with the first overall pick. Go out and get the best center available to anchor your offensive line, but kind of mentor your quarterback. Love that deal, actually. Alec Pierce staying in Indy. He was linked to a lot of teams, wide receiver. He got a massive overpay, 4 years, $116 million, 84 guaranteed. What that means for A.J. Brown, I don't know. We'll deal with that. But the Colts then had to make a pivot move to save money and afford that. They are trading Michael Pittman over to the Steelers to clear up the cap space for that. Super Bowl MVP Kenneth Walker is leaving the Super Bowl champs and heading to Kansas City on a 3-year, $43 million deal. I think that says about $29 million guaranteed. Malik Willis, probably the top quarterback available. We were projecting $35 million. He actually signed for under that. He went 3 years, $67.5 million, $45 guaranteed to the Miami Dolphins to replace Tua as their starting quarterback. Mike Evans, I hate this deal because I love Mike Evans. I think he's the most underrated wide receiver of the last decade in the NFL. Going to San Francisco, leaving Tampa Bay, signing a 3-year, $60 million deal. Like I said, Mafe went to the Bengals, $60 million. Owe went to the Commanders, $100 million. Kind of sucks that we have to block him now. Some other deals, Kate Otten staying in Tampa. Wan'Dale Robinson, massively overpaid. The Titans spent so much money. Up to $80 million he can earn with that contract. Wan'Dale Robinson's like one of the worst wide receivers in football. Can't believe that. That one, Isaiah Lively, tight end, leaving Baltimore, going to the Giants. Kenny Gainwell, former Eagle, leaving Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's MVP, leaving Pittsburgh, go to the Bucks on a 2-year, $14 million deal. I love Kenny Gainwell. That one's for you, K1. And finally, last piece of news, it was announced that Travis Kelce will be returning to Kansas City for his 14th year in the NFL. The 36-year-old will give it at least one more year of a go. Good for him. Doesn't really matter. Don't even know when Patrick Mahomes will be back. But there's some Travis Etienne going to the Saints. You know, there are a lot of deals. I mean, there's so many more. I can't name them all in under 10 minutes or under 8 minutes, whatever it may be. So we'll just wrap it up there. They're the ones that stuck out to me and that I wanted to mention. So with that being said, guys, tune into Trending in the AM live at 8 a.m. on Tuesday. That is when we'll break it all down, take your opinions on everything, the Jalen Phillips news, Jalen Carter trade rumors, and so much more, and anything else that happened in the NFL from now, when I'm recording this at 5 o'clock on Monday till we go live at 8 a.m. We'll break it all down, so make sure you tune in. Just click the link down below in the description of this video. Guys, everybody have a great day. Go Birds. And bubbles up.
This episode is brought to you by Redfin. You're listening to a podcast, which means you're probably multitasking. Maybe even scrolling home listings on Redfin, saving homes without expecting to get them. But Redfin isn't just built for endless browsing. It's built to help you find and own a home. With agents who close twice as many deals, when you find the one, you've got a real shot at getting it. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Baseball is back, and the first pitch is on Netflix. The New York Yankees, led by 7-time All-Star Aaron Judge, head to the San Francisco Bay to take on Rafael Devers' San Francisco Giants. This season kicks off with one exclusive opening night game. Watch MLB Opening Night, the New York Yankees versus the San Francisco Giants, live on Netflix. Wednesday, March 25th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific.